Mondays to Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it. Mondays to Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. In the newsroom, you can't afford to miss it. Mondays to Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30.
Hello, viewers at home. Thank you for joining us in the newsroom. Yeah, today, let me first of all apologize for coming behind schedule on today's program. It was due to some logistics issues, but thank you for joining us. Now we are here again to discuss issues on Nigeria's affairs, and we are going to talk today on 3 topics relating to the comment by Buhari in which he was telling Nigerians to appreciate what they have. Buhari to Nigerians, appreciate what you have. Then secondly, we are going to look at a kind of admonition by United Nations Deputy Secretary General telling Nigerians that the 2023 polls must not fail. Then thirdly, we are on the program today, we are going to look at the incidents of bank officials who are involved in new Naira note racketeering as alleged, or as alleged by DSS and EFCC. Thank you for joining us once again. My guests are here with me on the program. Latif Agbola is here with me in the house.
My pleasure being here. This is my house.
Yeah.
This room is my house.
Yeah.
Permanent place.
Yeah, I welcome you in the newsroom. Yeah, Adewale Adewumi is also here with me. You are welcome in the newsroom.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's start the program. Buhari to Nigerians, appreciate what you have. Latif, if Buhari is telling Nigerians to appreciate what they have, what is it that we have that is worthy of appreciation?
Well, it's a very pregnant exhortation.
Okay.
Yes, what we have. We have the most populated African nation.
Okay.
Or the black nation, let me put it that way.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we have.
Okay.
We have a country that is blessed by Almighty God.
Okay.
Vast human and natural resources.
Okay.
Yes, what we have.
Yeah.
We have a country whereby you can find any investors friendly gift.
Okay.
However, I said yes. As part of yes is what I've explained so far.
Yeah.
But let's assume our leaders, even before Buhari, let's assume they have done what's supposed to have been done. Yes. But because they failed to do what they should have done in terms of making Nigerians to have that sense of belonging, that sense of patriotism. You see, this is very easy. What we just need is leading by example.
Okay.
When you have a leader that is patriotic, that is nationalist in nature, that people will not be blaming for being nepotic.
Okay.
Yes, people of the country will give themselves that kind of belonging, and it will be better for us.
Okay.
But when you have a leader that people will be saying he prefers a particular ethnic over others, well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But when we are talking about what we have, that means we will have to define it. What we have, is it our government?
Okay.
What we have, is it our natural resources?
Okay.
What exactly are we talking about here?
Okay.
If it is about Buhari's administration, this government has done so many things positively, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But if you cannot be feeling the outcome of 8 years effort, then something is wrong somewhere.
Okay.
If it is short-term outcome, Nigerians should have been enjoying what they call the so-called dividend of democracy under this government.
Okay.
Because many people were happy that Buhari is coming. But now, here we have.
Okay.
We have crude oil, still we are suffering to get fuel. We are suffering to get gas.
Yeah.
We are suffering to get diesel. We are suffering to get kerosene. Whereas we have that crude oil. And what's the problem? Because somebody somewhere fails to build refinery.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere fails to oversee those in charge of the sector. Unfortunately, Mr. President being the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Quite unfortunate. My answer remains yes or no. Yes, we have a great Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a blessed Nigeria, but no, we don't have what we're supposed to have as leadership.
Okay. All right. Adewale Adewumi, Buhari to Nigerians, appreciate what you have. He's telling the Nigerians to appreciate what we have. Eh? What are those things that we have that we should appreciate?
Thank you very much. It has been well articulated by my brother Latif Agbola.
Okay.
Brilliantly articulated. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of natural resources.
Okay.
Nigeria is blessed with even when you look at the landscape, mountains, rolling mountains, flowing rivers. Nigeria is blessed to have these things. And Nigeria also is blessed to have people who are very and highly intelligent, intellectual, and who are very well versed in their respective fields, in their own capacity. But what is missing, what is lacking, is what has just been spoken. Nigeria needs better leadership. Nigeria needs leadership that is concerned about the welfare of the people. Nigeria needs leaders that take the interest of the nation, who want public service more than personal aggrandizement or whatever way you call it. So, but for Nigerians, for us to appreciate what we have, it is a good admonition. Because when you say your house is not good, your lawn or your garden is not good, when you get to someone else's garden or lawn, you see that it's full of weeds, it's full of potholes. So we need to just appreciate what we have, but admonition to our leaders, help us to appreciate what we have by giving us what you should be giving us. Okay. That is how we're going to say it.
All right. Latif, if you look at this admonition by the president, appreciate what you have. Like you said the other time, we have everything that is appreciable. Now, we have things that are appreciable, but is it everything that we have in Nigeria that is appreciable?
You see, there is no way you talk about Nigeria and you remove has given us.
Okay.
We have so many things to be proud of. Okay. Honestly, we have them. But the fact still remains that it is one thing to have something, it's another thing to promote what you have, to harness that potentials. Even when you harness it for the benefit of the populace, not for the benefit of the very few people. Okay. You see, in a situation whereby majority of people are suffering for a very long time, they become agitated. Okay. They won't be appreciate what they have anymore. Okay. That's the bone of contention. Okay. I'm not saying it is Buhari who caused the problem, but he came to rescue us. Yeah. But how far he rescued us is another thing. Okay. So the reality of the matter is that Nigeria is a great nation. We are a great country, whether you like it or not. So maybe that is what Mr. President is talking about. Okay. But if he's talking about what he has done for us, well, maybe after he might have left, we may be seeing the result of his effort. But presently, we are only feeling the heat. Okay. All right. So he needs to do something to ensure that the effect of this hardship is cushioned. All right.
Adewumi, let me come back to you. Now, if you think, if you look at all the endowments in the country, like Latif has said, he said so many things that we have that we should appreciate in this country. But if you look at the way our leaders are piloting the affairs of the country, right from time up till now, and going by the level of complaints, agitation in the country, can we appreciate our leader? Is the leadership among those things to be appreciated in this country?
Yeah. These are the things that make it difficult for the average Nigerian to appreciate all the natural endowments, all the physical endowments, all the things that God has blessed this country with. It is very, very difficult to look, to even go and enjoy any Jesha waterfall. Those beautiful places are there. But because you have hardship, how can we appreciate? I want to go to the waterfall, enjoy the cool, clean water of the place, but then I have to queue in line to buy petrol. I have to wait. Even when I drove, I experienced now, I drove my car to the pump. Then the petrol station manager said it's 6 o'clock. They just turned off everything. When I had waited over 2 hours to get there. How can you now appreciate or even think to appreciate natural resources when the physical resources around you are making you to cry? I had to wait at the pump to beg somebody to buy gasoline somewhere else to bring for me inside the gasoline station. So how can I appreciate those things when I'm suffering with these things? So, but Americans tell their people to see America, enjoy America, and people travel from New York to California, from Florida to the extreme part of Washington State, and people enjoy the physical landscape and everything is there, the security that is there. But can we say appreciate Nigeria when I cannot travel anytime after 6 p.m., when I cannot go from Oshogbo to Ibadan, when I can't travel from Lagos back to Oshogbo because it's already 6 o'clock in the evening? How can we appreciate? How can I now begin to appreciate all those things? When I'm driving from Lagos to Oshogbo, there are lots of natural beauty to behold. But when you are now suffering with, will this petrol in my car get me all the way back to Oshogbo? When I'm now suffering with, will I be able to make it home on time before dark? How can you then appreciate all the natural beauty? So these are the things that is killing the desire and the zeal of Nigeria. I mean, Nigerians to appreciate Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Latif. No. There are things to be appreciated about this country, and there's no doubt that we have some challenges. But to what extent can we appreciate those things that we have?
Well, as much as we are patriotic, I've always raised this. The main problem with us is patriotism. Don't see yourself as an Hausa man, a Yoruba man, or an Igbo man. Don't see yourself as an enemy of the government. Because in most cases, people will believe that they are doing something against the government. Back in what they are, as if all these structures, these facilities are meant for the government. For example, when you vandalize a pipeline, is the government that is going to suffer all these populace? All this we need to think about it. Whenever you are thinking about Nigeria, thinking about your place that can never be replaced by any other place, no matter how beautiful.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's move to the second topic of our discussion for today. Nigeria must not fail with 2023 polls. That's coming from United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed. Latif, now, Nigeria must not fail with 2023 polls. This is a kind of warning or admonition. But, yes, if Nigeria should not fail with 2023 polls, what are those things that we should do in order not to make Nigeria fail?
Well, number one thing is, thank God it is Amina Mohammed who said this. Yoruba people will say, oh, Manala. So it came from one of us. But the fact remains that, let me ask in the first place, must we be told by the United Nations before we know that we shouldn't fail in 2023? Must we wait for any UN to tell us that in this first place? Then, second place, in the second instance, what exactly is the interest of the United Nations? Are they for us or for themselves? Because in most cases, when you are trying to moderate an affairs in someone else's house, a particular interest must be protected. Is it the interest of ensuring that that house remain peaceful, or some interest elsewhere? Honestly, for some time, I have a kind of reservation against the international community since the days of the June 12th struggle. these are the bodies, I'm not talking about UN alone, some other bodies too, who only led people to waste the life of innocent citizens. In the first place, the election, the 1993 election was free, fair, and acceptable to all. It was annulled. The UN as a body then, the best they could was just to sanction the military government that came after that, and that sanction didn't hold any water. Don't let me go historical. Where I'm going is, in most cases, when someone elsewhere comes to your home to tell you you must do it this way, I don't think that's the best for us. The best thing for us is to think that Nigeria is our country. We own Nigeria, we have Nigeria. And if Nigeria is peaceful, we will enjoy Nigeria. If Nigeria develops, the income generation will enjoy it. So the fact remains that even without waiting for United Nations to tell us what to do, when all hands must be on deck, myself, you, people out there, INEC, security agents, the government in power, the opposition party, and others should ensure that Nigeria doesn't fail in 2023.
Okay. Adorumi, Nigeria must not fail with 2023 polls, says United Nations. Now, if Nigeria will not fail with 2023 polls, what do we do in order to make 2023 polls a successful one?
It is quite the statement from the United Nations, or whichever of the agents said it. It's quite a condescending statement. Condescending to Nigeria. It's a pedagogic statement that you little child, don't misbehave, daddy is coming. That is a condescending statement. How will you define failure in 2023? Is it if one person wins, the one everybody thinks will win, or the other, that one doesn't win, is the other person win? Will you define that as a failure? There are three major candidates there. Which of them will win that the United Nations will consider it not a failure?
Okay.
So it's a condescending statement, and I don't expect the United Nations to be saying that to Nigeria at this time, because they didn't say that to America when they were conducting the polls that brought Joe Biden in. They didn't say that in Britain when they were conducting the polls or the parliamentary thing that brought in the present Prime Minister. They didn't say that to other countries, but they always look at Nigeria. Maybe in their definition they will say because Nigeria is a strategic nation. Yes, Nigeria has a strategic position in the United Nations or among the nations of the world, but they have not been recognizing Nigeria for that or as that. It's only when it is time to look down, talk down on Nigeria that you hear their voice. There are lots of things that the United Nations could help to do, but we are not getting the benefit of it. But now it's time to hold the election for 2023. Then the big papa, the big brother must come and tell the little boy, don't misbehave, you must not fail in this 2023 poll. How do they define? They need to define the failure, what they mean by failure. That is my own opinion.
All right, thank you. Latif, I don't mean saying that the UN has to define the term failure. But then, if you look at the way our politicians conduct themselves, especially during campaigns, the way their supporters used to behave, the challenges we are having in this country, you know, everybody is becoming concerned that probably the election might not hold. I think against the backdrop of this is what the United Nations is saying, that Nigeria must not fail with 2023 polls. Latif.
We need to always think about the peculiarity of any nation. Yoruba people will say, you see, I don't see where a campaign will not be hot. Even if today Saudi Arabia, that is a religious country, adopt democracy, the campaign must be tough. But the nature of that toughness is what we are talking about. Killing people, attacking the opposition, attacking the ruling party is what I cannot support. But if we are saying because they are doing this, it's a seasonal thing. As a politician, let me share this with you. When we were very young, I have a brother who was a politician, now late. We used to follow him to political meeting. Even when they have a caucus meeting, he will allow me there. They believe this guy is a young guy, but they didn't know that I was trying to learn some things. And somebody said something one day that if you want to take something in politics, your father is there. They may deliberately invite your father to be there in order to use your father as a bait to caution you in order not to get that thing. It's also before your father. When you must have got what you want to get. So that's a lesson in politics. What I'm saying is, whenever it is electionary campaign period, it will be hot. Immediately after the election, it becomes cold. So let them eat up the politics the way they like. But they should not kill people. They should not cause confusion. They can talk. They can lambast anybody. It is our own way of campaigning here.
All right.
We don't campaign on the issue. That's the problem with us. But I believe that is not enough to say we are going to fail. No.
All right.
We are not going to fail.
All right. Yeah. Now, Adewumi, aside from the manner of campaigns, if you look at the challenges we are being faced with now, the problem, the challenges bedeviling the Naira redesign, the fuel scarcity issue, and don't forget that the INEC has raised concern about a day or 2 days ago that if the fuel scarcity persists like this, it might affect the conduct of 2023 poll. Is it not right for UN, having observed all this, is it not right for UN to give this kind of admonition?
Well, it's I will speak now about Nigeria. It's a shame for Nigeria to allow things to have deteriorated to this level and allow a foreign or outside body to be telling Nigerians what to do or how to do it or whether to fail or not to fail. It's because Nigerian leaders have neglected the problems that the people are facing. Nigerian leaders, they seem unconcerned about the problem that people are facing. And Nigerian leaders ride in their fully air-conditioned bulletproof cars. They ride through dilapidated roads. They ride through neighborhoods and communities where there are no basic amenities, and Nigerian leaders are not doing anything about it. That is what will make United Nations to come and say something about it. And I'm saying that it's a shame on Nigerian leaders for them to allow things to deteriorate up to this level before UN will come and say something. They've been talking about turnaround maintenance on refineries. And about 2 weeks ago, it was said that Port Harcourt refinery was ready and would be refining crude oil and producing gasoline. But this is how far we have come. Today is the first day of February, and it's 24 days to the election day. We have not seen any break in the supply of gasoline at the petrol station. So now Nigeria needs to look inward. Nigeria needs to have a moment of reflection. Nigeria needs to have a time to talk to itself. But when will that be? Because even the average Nigerian, they are not ready. Like has been said, they vandalize public property, thinking that they are doing evil to the to government. Who is government? We are the government. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Latif. Let me also. I mean, let me still look at it this way. Aside from, you know, it has always been a custom. The manner of campaigns by politicians, it has always been their trademark in this country. But aside from that, there are other challenges that we have in this country that might affect the conduct of the poll. If somebody is now telling us that Nigeria must not fail, is it not a kind of admonition that we should do what we're supposed to do in order to ensure that the election does not fail?
Let me start from where Elder stopped. You see, we don't need anybody to tell us not to fail. And he insists. Now, let's see it from this way. Democracy returned in 98, 99. Because the first election was conducted in December before the main election in 1999. Now, what I'm saying is, after that, we had another one in 2003, another one in 2007, another one in 2011. 2015, 2019, and now 2023, you must have seen that we are improving.
Yeah.
Honestly, whether we like it or not. In 99, 2003, 2007, we have the do or die experience.
Okay.
Where you see thugs going to police units snatching ballots. So there are no more snatching ballots. If you snatch ballots, you only waste that vote. So that is a kind of improvement in our life.
Okay.
The problem we are facing presently is the issue of vote buying when it comes to the election issue. Okay. And I believe one day we'll also overcome that one. Okay. Now, coming back to the issue on ground that we have this issue, we have that issue. You see, in the first place, I have not seen that thing. The only thing I can say is the issue of security in some states of the country, especially the southeastern part of the country. Because if you look at the northeast, the issue of banditry is becoming low by the day.
It's reducing.
Yes. Okay. But in the southeast, the place is still hot. Okay. And you know, INEC has the power to conduct election in other states and suspend that election in that area. And what they have the enough number of security operatives to monitor the election there, and they will conduct the election there. I don't see us failing. But one thing is that I want us to have a kind of election that will be generally acceptable. Okay. Though politicians will never accept outcome of election if it is not favorable. Okay. But when I say generally, when you see stakeholders, you talk about INEC, security agents, the money election monitors, and so on. Even the National Union, whose members will be carrying INEC sensitive and insensitive materials during the election. They are also stakeholders. If everyone can play its own part very well, I believe Nigeria will also make us proud at the end of the day. The only problem that we may have at the end of the day is the problem of hatred that has been between us before now. For example, let's assume Obi emerges in 2023. Some people may see him as Igbo president. So whoever that emerges, or if Atiku emerges, they may see him as Fulani's candidate. Why Bola Tinubu may be seen as Yoruba candidate. What I'm driving at is that whoever emerges among the three main contenders should see Nigeria as one, and should see himself as leader of Nigeria. As much as I don't like the politics of Chief Obasanjo, he said something in after 1999 election, when the Afenifere there was saying Obasanjo was imposed on us, that he was not the candidate of the Southwest. You knew Obasanjo was given to us as the candidate then, in order to appease the Southwest because of the June 12th and the death of MK Abiola. Now, when they raised that, then when they said Obasanjo was not our candidate, he was imposed or not, you knew what Obasanjo, how he replied them. He said, Nigeria is my constituency. My constituency is beyond Yoruba land. I love that if he meant it. So we should see our Nigeria as our constituency, not Yoruba land, Igbo land, or Hausa land. That's just my submission.
All right. Aderumi, still on this topic. You see, Nigeria must not fail with 2023 polls. What are those things that we should do in order to ensure that Nigeria does not fail?
I will let's accept that statement as a searchlight. You know, like you focus the beam on a particular area or person. Let's look at that as a searchlight, telling, and let's direct it to INEC that statement. INEC ought to take it very seriously. That statement ought to be, let's imagine it is directed at INEC. Because of what we just experienced in Osun State, because of the Beavers machine and all that, what led to all the controversy, INEC released a non-synchronized data, and then INEC released a synchronized data and did not withdraw or nullify the first one that is released, and then the third one was released because all the parties asked for the data.
Yeah.
And the beavers, the numbers on the beavers show something different and show something that will exonerate anything, that will stand any test. But INEC is the one that is to be blamed now, like Barrister Femi Falana said. He said INEC is to be blamed. In fact, somebody said, he told Osun intelligence, our people, to sue INEC. So this statement, I would direct it to INEC, that they must be sure that they do their job and do it very well, so that there will be no question. If there's any question about any result that is produced, that it will stand the test. But it did not stand the test in Osun State. The rest is left to the appeal court and the Supreme Court. But from what we saw less than a week ago, INEC has a lot of blame to assume. And I'm taking that statement and directing it at INEC, and saying INEC need to do its job and do it very well.
All right, thank you. Latif, you see INEC alone that should do it's supposed to be a collective.
You know, I said everybody involved.
Yeah.
But INEC as the umpire need to tidy up with end.
Okay.
Now the security agents need to work with INEC, because INEC doesn't have its own security department.
Okay.
So the security agents, the police, the DSS, the NSCDC, and other paramilitaries, they should ensure that they work patriotically to ensure that INEC doesn't fail. Because this job is a chain one. So INEC may want to conduct free and fair elections, but if the security look the other way, what if those who are even the ad hoc staff who are not permanent members of staff members of the INEC, what if they betray the INEC and so on and so forth? So we must always see things from positive perspective, not from the other way around. Because in most cases, people always look at what they gain. Their primary gain is things, not the collective gains of Nigerians. So if we can, as I said, we are talking about security agents, talking about INEC, even the National Assembly, our lawmakers should, as a matter of fact, see themselves as part of the success of democracy. Though members of the National Assembly belong to different political parties, but they should see Nigeria as their priority before the election of their own political party. I believe if we can see it from that direction, INEC will not fail.
All right. Now, thank you, gentlemen. Let's move to the third topic of our discussion on the program for today. Bank officials in new Naira notes racket, DSS, EFCC. Adewumi. Bank officials in new Naira notes racket.
It's a sad story. It's a sad piece of news, but it's not a shocking news. It is not shocking.
How?
How? The reason is because those men and women, young men and women who work at the banks, all of the banks, or should I say most of the banks, not a broad statement.
Majority of them.
Most of the banks, majority of them, people work there are looking for their own personal interest. That's number one, everybody is. But then also there are people who know who they are, who know them, and who will make contact with them and say, I need 100 million Naira new notes. And they will, of course, oblige them. And there's something, a hand washes hands, so both hands are clean. And so when it says now that bank officials are involved in the racket, then it's not a shocking news, especially when you see what happens in a lot of banks. And officials who work there, they are pressured by the members of the public. Whenever I'm at a bank, I pity these young men and women. They are pressured. Somebody will just come, you've been in a long line, people been in a long line, somebody comes, goes to the front, calls one of them and says, this is what I need, and they oblige them. So there's no transparency in the system. If they will come back now or go and sanitize the system, this kind of headline will not be coming out, at least not so glaringly. If it happens here and there or sketchy instances, yes. But for the general thing happening, you have seen the video where we are still struggling to get the new Naira notes, and you've seen young men and women at marriage ceremonies holding bundles, brand new notes, and spraying it in the air and doing the Nigerian thing while we are still unable to get it. I got the first 4 new notes yesterday, and I was so surprised. Even the new notes I got had become dirty and wrinkled. It's no longer new. But somebody got it much earlier, and the young lady that told me, that I went to the POS, said they got it from the petrol station, and the money had become so dirty and wrinkled. So why must it be so? Why must it take so long for the new Naira note to get into circulation? The moment you announce that a new note is coming and the deadline is December 15, and then you change it to January 31st, those times, intervening periods ought to be when the money will be in circulation. And then you gradually and be withdrawing the old notes. But everything in Nigeria must take on a new perspective or a new image, and everything in Nigeria must have the Nigerian factor. Nothing works when you look at it that way.
Latif, DSS, EFCC says bank officials in new Naira note racket. Are you not worried about this situation?
The reality of the matter is that are the two agencies, the DSS and the EFCC, are just investigating agency that will give us report like reporters do, or they are there to take action. What I see is that, to be candid, as Adewumi earlier said, self-centeredness is the main problem. Whenever we see things from the angle of what I going to gain from this, even at the expense of others, that's exactly what we are facing now. But I can also see inconsistency from the part of CBN as a regulatory body. CBN once said they changed the Naira note color or face because of the kidnappers who used ransom. They later said they wanted to control inflation, the volume of money in circulation. You see that inconsistency in the first place. Now let's put that one aside. And the CBN has been saying the commercial banks should allow people to get money. And when you go to this bank, what happens is that if you deposit old notes and you go back to the ATM, you still withdraw old notes from the ATM.
Exactly.
And the CBN will tell you they have distributed 30 billion to each of the commercial banks and so on and so forth. You can now see a kind of blame game. We don't want any blame game. Let anybody do what he or she is supposed to do and ensure that Nigeria work. The problem with us is that majority of Nigerians, we have a kind of similar mentality. Recently, we were queuing for fuel at a particular Bovas filling station along Osho Gram. Now, some people now came and they are entering through the back door. You know what happened? I raised it. Another man also raised it. Others in the queue now said, even if tell me go money, and we go wale. So they said every day also, somebody there, they will use that money to it. That means we have similar mentality. Instead of us to correct their numbers, to correct what is not good. So some people are saying it is because they don't even know anybody here. They should have also done what these people do. What I'm saying is that majority of our people who are taking the advantage of this Naira note, it is because of the gain they are getting from these racketeering sharp practices. But at the end of the day, apart from the fact that it is illegal, it is ungodly. It makes people suffer. So we should fear God if we don't fear the law. Yes, we may not fear the law of the land. Let's fear God Almighty.
Now, Adewumi, if you look at the submission by Latif, what he was trying to say is that it was the manner of policy implementation by the CBN that gives room to this racketeering. Now, how will you now see the central bank action in this regard?
No, long before the announcement is made that the Naira note to be redesigned and reissued and all that, at least a huge chunk of money ought to have been at the banks, even before the public announcement. That is how it is done in a civilized climate or environment. Before you know it, all of a sudden you are receiving new American dollar notes at the bank without anybody telling you they are redesigning the Naira or redesigning the dollar. But CBN made much ado about much ado about nothing about this Naira redesign. They should have made sure that the monies are there at the bank before making all these rackets, all the rackets about December 15th, January 31st, before making the deadline. The money should have been already in circulation. But up till now, I don't know today, I haven't been to the bank, but maybe there are people still queuing at the bank and they are not getting the new Naira notes. I passed through a bank today and I saw a long queue and I began to feel a nightmare to say, when I need to go to the bank one of these days, will I have to queue? So central bank has to shield a lot of the blame. Why must it wait for the National Assembly to threaten the CBN governor before appearing before the National Assembly Committee? Why must it take all these things before we get what is ours? You have your money. Even if I stockpile old notes, it is still legal tender. And then when you say you need to change it, then I should take it to the bank and be able to get a new one or deposit it in the bank without any hassle. But then all the hassles that follow it, NFIU will not let you rest. Even if you earn your money legitimately, but you have just been stockpiling at home, now you carry it out all of a sudden, NFIU will be on your trail, EFCC will be on your trail, DSS will be watching out for you. So all of these things make it very difficult for the average Nigerian to enjoy or to to enjoy the benefits of democracy, or what is that called, dividends of democracy. CBN is to be blamed. And the CBN governor always says that he and the president, he individual and the president as an individual, he and the president, they agree on this thing and so it must go on. He and the president don't agree and so it will not be.
As if it's a personal affair.
Exactly. So like it's a personal affair. It should not be so, and that is what is killing Nigeria. And we'll continue to hinder Nigeria until we take the bull by the horn and say no more.
All right, thank you. Latif, you see, banknote racketeering, I think it's a crime.
Yes.
Now, how do we combat this problem? Because it's a menace. Now, what can we do in order to stamp out this menace and ensure that our Naira note, the image and status of our Naira note is redeemed?
We have more problems at hand, even than the Naira note racketeering. If you have a society whereby money is being worshipped, this is the result of such a society. We, as people, we place too much priority on money. Yes, money is very, very important. But which kind of money are we talking about here? Is it the hard one, the one that you get through your sweat, or the one you get through dubious means? But if the society doesn't care where you get the money, and unfortunately you have a kind of almighty Emefiele as the CBN, you have I don't care Buhari as the president. Honestly, you have the people with similar mentality. So you see all this, then the system that promotes whom do you know. The system should be that this thing supposed to be for you, whether you know anything, no matter your status. But what they will ask you is, do you know anybody at OSBC? Have you known anybody? Try to go and know someone that know somebody at OSBC. It shouldn't be that way. It should be that since you are a Nigerian, it is your right. It is your right. You must get it.
Exactly.
But in Nigeria, we don't have a right. You must know somebody. So if you don't know anybody, then you are just a less Nigerian than a other Nigerians. That's the problem with us. If we can address all this, if the CBN governor doesn't turn himself to the king of the jungle, if the president cares for the Nigerian populace, then if Nigerians too have the mentality of doing the right thing at the right time, at the right place, everything will go the way it should go.
All right.
That's my solution.
Now, finally, before we round it up on the program, in a few seconds, what is your advice vis-a-vis this money racketeering?
Well, Nigerians are being governed by one of two sayings in the Bible. In the Bible, it says the love of money is the root of all evil. And then King Solomon says, money answereth all things. And I believe that the average and the majority of Nigerians are governed by the second saying, money answereth all things. And like my brother has just rightly said and brilliantly put it, that Nigerians need to shift the emphasis, shift the focus from money and say human beings first.
All right. Latif, your final remark.
Well, my remarks, I've always said it, patriotism is very, very important. We should be patriotic to Nigeria, our country. That's number one. If we are not patriotic, we should be respecter of our law. That's measure of the land. If we cannot do both, then let's fear Almighty God who created us.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program today. Adewale Adewumi, I appreciate your coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Latif Agbola.
It's my pleasure being in the newsroom. It's my house anytime, any day.
Thank you very much. Viewers at home, this is where we are going to round it up for today. Tomorrow is another edition of the program when you'll be joining another of my colleagues in the newsroom. Until then, I am Kayode Adebayo. Bye-bye.